Welcome to Long Live Alternative Parties podcast. Today we have another exciting guest on our podcast. His name is David Holman, and he's with one of our favorite parties, the Libertarian Party, and he's going to tell us which office he's going to run for in a second. So welcome to the podcast, David.
Thank you.
David, kindly start by telling us which office you're running for and what state you're in with the Libertarian Party.
I am in Quay County, New Mexico, running for county commissioner, District 2. Quay County is on the eastern edge of New Mexico, right up against Texas.
Great. We're in Texas here, so that's good to know you're nearby. If you could also give us a background sketch, a brief introduction to yourself, that would be great.
I am a fairly recent transplant to New Mexico. I'm born and raised in California. My family has been here in Tucumcari since 1936. My mom grew up here. I'm living in a house my great uncle built in 1950 on land that my great grandfather bought in 1936. So I have a pretty deep connection. We used to come here every summer when I was a kid through the 60s and 70s. So when I retired, and decided I couldn't take California any longer, it seemed like a good place. And it just happened that my Uncle Mac's house was for sale, so I bought it.
Oh, good. Good to know. All right. So you're running for county commissioner of what county is it?
Quay County, Quay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the top of the show, you're saying it's on the eastern side of New Mexico, right?
Yes.
And it borders with Texas. What else is the area like? Is it a rural area? Is it urban area? Is it racially diverse? What are the other demographics?
It is, it's rural primarily. I live in Tucumcari, which is a town of 5,000, and the county, there's 8,000 in the county, and it's a pretty good size land. So we have a lot of ranches, cattle, some farming, agriculture, alfalfa mostly, things like that.
Okay.
And as far as diversity, very diverse, very high Hispanic population, Native American population. I'm not sure the exact breakdown, but I'm guessing 50% white, 40% Hispanic, and 10% other.
Okay. That's pretty good. So for this office, what are the roles and responsibilities of the county commissioners for Quay County?
New Mexico commissioners primarily maintaining roads, the sheriff's office, we operate a hospital, and do like indigent care and things like that. But it's primarily maintaining all these county roads.
Okay. So given that, how do you plan to bring your libertarian vision to maintaining the county roads there?
You know, my primary objective is to make sure it's all done efficiently with the smallest government possible.
Okay.
Even as a libertarian, I will concede that maintaining roads is a legitimate government function.
Okay, good. Okay, so you accept that, yet at the same time you want to avoid waste and you want to optimize the tax dollars sent by your constituents.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a huge tax base. I mean, it's a fairly low-income area, and property values are really low, so property tax revenue is not all that high. I was a councilman in a city in California 30 years ago, and the budget for that city was about 10 times what the budget for this county is.
Oh, my.
So, you know, I don't know that there's a whole lot to cut, but what we can cut, we should. Right now they're building a new hospital. I don't see any reason why that hospital won't be privatized.
Yeah.
And I was worried that I would interrupt.
Okay, so yeah, so you'd rather have that hospital be privatized?
Yeah, and the hospital currently is being operated by a company, insurance company, medical center, whatever. They do insurance there. The Presbyterian, they do everything.
Okay,
I want to make sure we keep it that way because I do believe that's much more efficient.
sure. Okay, so so you said that you were the councilman for a city in California 30 years ago. Usually, from what I understand and from what I know, is the council positions are nonpartisan. Was that also the case there?
When I was in Apple Valley as a council member in there, yes, it was a nonpartisan
Okay.
position.
Okay. Were you involved with the Libertarian Party then, or did you come to the Libertarian Party later?
Okay, so I was a Republican when I got elected to the Parks Commission in Apple Valley, 1990,
Oh,
and I became a Libertarian and then ran for city council, but again, it was nonpartisan. So, I mean, everybody knew I was Libertarian and voted for me anyway.
well, that's good. That's good. So you became a
That's back when there was
Libertarian.
a Libertarian wing of the Republican Party. It no longer exists, but
Yeah.
there used to be.
Yeah, unfortunately. So it was around that time you were a city councilman. Is that when you became a Libertarian?
Yes.
Okay. So you've been a Libertarian for a while then, it sounds like.
1995.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you voted for, in 1996, was Harry Brown, right?
Harry Brown. Yep.
Yep. Awesome. Sounds great.
And actually every Libertarian presidential candidate since then, I just have, I'm done with the duopoly.
Good for you. That's what we like to hear. So, to reach your voters, since you mentioned that this is a very rural area with a lot of space, how are you reaching them?
I just put out a mail piece last week. So direct mail, which none of the other local politicians here have discovered. That's kind of, how they do things and where I'm from. And that's been it. I mean, that and social media.
Okay.
I'm developing a bit of a following on some Facebook groups, local community groups.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So are you doing this campaign all by yourself, or do you have a team supporting you?
Mostly by myself. I'm getting a lot of support from our state chair.
Oh, good.
He's pretty good at politics. That's why he's the state chair. And he knows the area and knows New Mexico better than I do.
Okay.
So yeah, he's been a tremendous assistance. And I had people help, like going out to get petition signed and stuff, but mostly it's just me.
Okay. Sounds all right. So to get on the ballot for this race, how many petitions did you have to get signed?
Just 10. The thing is,
10.
when it started, I was going to run for public education commissioner, and that required 50 signatures.
Yep.
And I came up short.
Oh, no.
So I changed my mind.
Okay, fair enough. 10. That sounds decent. That's something that us alternative party people, that would be hard for us to complain about because that's not too many.
No, but there's only 41 libertarians in the county.
Oh, okay.
So I literally had to get 4 of them. But we did it.
Okay, so you have registration by party in your area?
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
And nominating petitions have to be from your party.
Oh, they do. Okay. Okay, that's interesting to know because in some states, anybody who's a registered voter can sign those. They don't have to vote for you. They can be for any party. So that makes it a lot more restrictive, and certainly.
Well, and again, it's a partisan office, and most places, county supervisors or commissioners are non-partisan, just like most places city council people are non-partisan.
Yes.
So I was surprised that county commissioners were partisan office here.
Okay. So would you prefer it be that way, or do you like the way most other places do it?
I think all elected offices should be nonpartisan.
Oh, wow.
I don't just object to the duopoly, I object to parties. Which is weird since I'm involved in one, but I don't see how parties have helped anything. In the formal sense, I mean, taken charge, because the duopoly has, taken charge in state legislatures and made it hard for any other party, unnecessarily so. So yeah, I would just as soon elect my congressman and senator and everybody else based on who they are, not on what party they belong to.
All right. That's interesting. So in this conversation, we're holding it at the beginning of October. That means there's about a month before the election. Is there anything you're going to do in the last month differently than you have been doing?
I am going to get out and knock on doors. Early voting starts here on the 8th.
8th of October?
Yeah.
Wow.
So next weekend, me and my nephew, who's my other campaign staff, are going to be knocking on doors, just getting people to vote, getting them out.
Okay.
Making sure that they voted. I checked into it, and in 2022 here, I think it's about 60% of voters voted before Election Day.
Wow.
Either mail-in or early vote. So, yeah, they're going to start voting and be effectively over by the middle of October. Most people like to get it out of the way.
Sure. So what do you think about early voting? I'm sorry, go ahead.
So that's also why I did a mail piece kind of early.
Okay.
If more people were waiting until Election Day, I wouldn't have sent that out until like the first day of November. But
okay, I got you.
Got to get
because
people.
of the timing of the early voting. That's why you changed the timing of your mail piece.
Yeah, and the fact that people here do vote early in pretty large numbers. So
okay.
Get out there, but it's best to, I think, wait until early voting starts to start knocking on doors.
Okay.
Because people can actually act on it if you get into a conversation with somebody. It's like, here, vote now. Let me put that in your mailbox.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well put. So in regard to early voting, what do you think about it? Do you think it's a good thing, or would you rather we not have it?
Yeah, I was the first guy in line at the polls for many years. There was half a dozen of us at a polling place that would meet every election day, right before they opened. And I like voting in person. I will vote in person here too, although I'll do it early. I have mixed feelings. In one way, I wish we'd all do it on the same day because, as I said, early voting starting here in 5 days, and people die, things happen, wars break out, and people have already voted. Things that might affect people's votes can happen between the early voting and election day. And I just wonder how many people are like, damn, I wish I hadn't sent that in.
Oh, sure. Sure. Yeah,
on the other hand, making it easy to vote is, I'm cool with that. We need to make it a relatively simple process. I would go with online voting.
Oh, you would?
For everybody.
Okay.
and in a shorter period, but, it could be done safely, I believe.
Okay. So some people would object to the security of that because they would think there would be lots of opportunities for fraud with the internet voting. So I think you would disagree?
I think that it has to be taken seriously if we decide to do it. I mean, some serious security has to be implemented. But, we access our bank accounts and we all this other stuff online, and it's mostly secure. I mean, yeah, people, get hacked or whatever, and so, like I said, they need to put some serious security in place, but it sure be nice if on election day everybody could just log on their phone, cast their vote.
Sure. Yeah, you raise a good point because these bank account places that are more so the online only ones require you to upload your documents to them for them to approve a bank account. So if they can do it, why can't the municipalities?
The military sends top secret information across the internet.
Oh.
It can be done. It can be secured. And again, I'm sure there's been instances where the security has been compromised, but not a lot.
Yes. People can do that in-person voting. There's ways to compromise the security of that as well. So nothing is 100%.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can check IDs, but people get fake ID. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything you do, somebody's going to figure a way to get around it.
Yes.
You just need to make it as difficult as possible.
Yes.
And keep an eye out for the fact that no matter how good your systems are, they're not perfect.
Sure. So on
Which is what I would say about like people hacking computerized systems. The thing is, they always know when they've been hacked.
Oh, they do.
So, okay, we got hacked. Let's have a do-over or whatever.
So if they did get hacked, would they have to do the election all over?
Again, I don't know all exactly how all this would transpire. I don't know. I think it's something we could take a look at.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't pretend to know all these answers. I'm not really all that technical.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You don't have to be from
right.
The IT people can figure it out.
Exactly.
It's
we
their
have
job.
people a lot smarter than me because they could probably put together a system.
Sure. Yes. So what would you say is the best election reform for the local area? Since you're running for a local office, do you think ranked choice voting is good for that area, or do you think there's some other election reform that would be beneficial?
I support ranked choice voting. Again, most of the contests I've been involved in were multi-candidate and multi-office. In other words, there'd be 7 or 8 people running for 2 seats or 3 seats.
Uh-huh.
And that's a lot like ranked choice voting, where, your goal is maybe to be everybody's second choice and not be appealing specifically to Republicans or specifically to Democrats, but put yourself towards the middle where a large number of people on both sides will vote for you and you can actually sneak right in.
There you go. Yeah, that would be a good strategy.
It would be beneficial to minor parties.
Sure.
And to more moderate members of the major parties.
Yes. Good point.
If I could be basically Republican but be soft enough to attract a percentage of Democrats as their second choice, I might beat the Democrat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's good. So election is coming up. We talked about that. We got about a month away from
Mm-hmm.
The election day is a month away from the podcast, so it sounds like you're in the final stretch. So if
Yeah.
you win the election, what are you going to do? How are you going to celebrate?
Oh, give me a big old Hatch chili cheeseburger from Blake's.
Oh wow,
That's our
that's right.
the in and out.
That's right. Hot chili comes from your state. That's yeah.
We are the chili capital of the world right here.
Wow.
Not my county in particular, but the state.
Oh
South.
sure. So you appreciate chili peppers.
One of the reasons I've always loved New Mexico is we have the best food. And
Okay.
I know, I don't want to say that to a Texan because y'all get offended, but but we do. We have really unique cuisine and culture here that I kind of enjoy.
Good. I agree.
Yeah,
I like your chili peppers
chili
too.
on everything.
So it's okay to say
chili
that.
on cheesecake.
Wow. Wow, that's going far. That shows your passion for it.
Our local barbecue place here has the best Hatch chili apple cobbler. It really is. I know it sounds a little weird, but it's really the bomb.
Huh. Wow. All right, David. How can our audience support you in your campaign?
If you're anywhere near Quay County, if you know anybody here, vote for me. Tell your friends to vote for me. I've raised as much money as I need to. You could look me up on social media on Facebook at throw us a like, comment on some of these posts that get ignored sometimes. That's about it.
Okay.
David Holman, Quay County Commissioner, is the name of my page. If anybody wants to look at it, and also Holman for Quay County is my website. I can always use traffic there. The more traffic I get, the more Google wants to show other people.
There you go. Sure, and that's something anybody anywhere can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't cost you nothing. And who knows? You might like some of my ideas.
Yep. Sure. David, we thank you for coming on the podcast and talking about your campaign. We appreciate it.
No problem.
We wish you all the best in your campaign and everything else you do in life.
All right. Thank you very much.
Take care and have a great day.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Bye now.